Alright, so for this map, what you want to do is start by building 4 DSTs. You want to put the first one just a little bit out of the halfway mark, and you want to cover this left lane all the way along the entire lane, and also covering the front door more than halfway so it can hit ogres that move a little bit off the center. You want to mirror that on the other side, covering the door and that pathway. Then you want to build your next tower, and you want to cover, imagine those two lines from these DSTs are touching, and you want to cover most of the stairs in the center. And then you mirror the same thing on the opposite side, just like so. On round 1, if you feel like it, if your stats aren't the best, you might want to put some slow auras. I recommend these 3, as the side lane up here is not that important. I like to sit on the monk for this wave. You don't have to. Again, if you have low power, you can boost, but you shouldn't need to. The spawns come out pretty slowly. Like I said, you can see everything's dead and you're just sitting here for a while. So you can imagine how much extra time you have for these DSTs to be killing things if your stats are slightly lower than mine. The main benefit of these DST towers, of course, is they will kill all of the spiders that appear everywhere on the map, since you have covered the entire map by placing them how you have, which you can see like this. So there's only this one sliver right here that isn't covered by these 4 DSTs right now. Alright, so another reason I like the monk. It's a lot easier to pick up all of this money when you've got the monk boost running around really quick. The huntress has a similar boost, so I mean it's up to you. But if you want to do this nice and quickly, this is obviously pretty alright. For this next wave, I like to build a lightning tower right here. The reason I'm building a lightning tower, as you can see, it is going to be covering the Wyvern lane, covers the middle, covers the Wyverns here. Build one on the other side as well. I just build it at the 3rd step, just a little bit off in front of that, as you can see. Mirror it on both sides. Then I like to build 2 more DSTs. You face this DST so that left line is just lining up with the flagpole and not covering the spawn that's going down the ramp. These DSTs essentially will focus ogres, then spiders, and anything else that gets through your defenses, which shouldn't happen, but you have correct stats. I then like to jump on this guy and start building my walls. First wall is right in the center at the top of the stairs. That essentially gets the ogres that come through here to just start wailing on it. As you can see, my walls have a decent amount of health. This guy doesn't have that many stats, but he's pretty alright. Build the first wall down there, because usually that will get you enough mana to build your next 2. This wall might seem a little weird, but you're going to build it on the left. The reason for that, this spawn right here, all the Dark Elf warriors or the assassins, whatever you call them, they'll walk somewhere up here and then turn around and zoom back around here to attack this wall. If it's in the center or to the right, they don't do that. And considering no ogres spawn on this side, you don't need a wall on this side. This one can just be wherever you want, it's not too important, I just stick it in the middle. And you should note that the auras are covering the back of these walls. That is important because when we get spiders spawning, we want to be killing them with our electric auras, which I like to start building on wave 3. So collect a bunch of mana. Lightning aura I always put at the back, Reason for that is, again, I want to be killing these spiders. So over here, you want to be doing the same 3 auras. Because we have no wall at all, I build them here, meaning it will obviously slow them and affect them around this bend and back down these stairs. Now, almost never will something get past here, maybe here on wave 25 for me, but my monk does have pretty good stats, so if your monk doesn't have extremely high stats like mine, you should be pretty alright with just the extra little bit of coverage and peace of mind. This wave, I start building all of the slow auras as well. Reason for that is we're going to start getting ogre choppers. Now this ogre chopper spawn is about here, where I'm pointing, whereas on the opposite side, it's not mirrored. So I like to build this opposite side, top of the flagpole, because the spawns come from over there. I don't worry about the wyverns here at all. I put this ensnare aura right here because it's able to capture the wyverns from there and there should they get through, but they don't. The lightning towers are pretty good at dealing with that. Then you wanted to put your, strength drain aura here. And one button. And I put an explosive trap here. We don't need a lightning aura here because we obviously have these 2 towers that are able to see down here. So I just put this as a bit of added insurance in case they're targeting wyverns or spiders or something else. And that will just make sure that none of the trash monsters are able to get through. Just going to collect all this mana up here as well. And then we can build our last DST tower, which just goes right here in the center, facing forward like this. Start the wave. Need just a tiny bit more mana. Should do. And we can complete the build. So this tower here, personally, I don't need it anymore, but when my stats were slightly lower, it did help a lot. You can notice the line is just along that wall, and it's at the back here as far back as it can go. There's a spider spawn that happens about there, and the idea is you want it to not have line of sight of that spider as much as possible, and that will allow it to focus on wyverns. So it's just a little bit of added support for killing wyverns, which can be a bit of an issue when your stats are lower, especially if your DSTs have low attack rate. Mine are 0.91, which is pretty good, and then obviously if I'm boosting, they attack much quicker, as you can see now. Very, very last touch to this build is putting a smoke aura here. You want to put it basically at this point right here. Reason for that is you want to be covering 3 different spider spawns. So there's a spider spawn here, mirrored on the other side there, and then one on this cross right here. So if any of those spiders drop, you want them to be in the smoke of this trap, which means they're not shooting their web, they're not slowing your DSTs, and it should be pretty good. So this build has managed to get me through wave 25, way easier than any other build I've seen, hence why I've made this guide. I'll just quickly go through my stats so you guys can see. So you can see about 4,000 power, 2,000 rate, and 1250 range. This build should be able to get through with 3,000 power, 1,500 rate. You want at least 1,200 range though, and the fortify does not matter. The monk, 1,000 fortify, that can be lower, it just means you'll have to repair during waves at wave 25, especially for the strength drain. The range 1,400 I would say could probably be a little lower as well, same as the defense rate, but 3,000 power is probably the minimum you want. Trapper, obviously not as important since there's only 2 traps in this map, but 3000 power, 1450 range, and about 1k defense rate. The Templar, like I said, 2800 fortify. I would say about 2200, maybe even less would be fine though. You can see I've got heaps of upgrades. There's no reason to put anything on him. And if you're going to play this map with 4 people, I would advise getting at least 1 person on a boost monk. And if your stats are lower, you may need to do the apprentice buff, so that's pressing C. And then if you right click, it buffs all your towers. You can see the glowing aura on it. If you're struggling with Wyverns, you can also buff these towers as well, which should really, really help the situation. Alright, cool. Hope you like the build. Feel free to let me know what you think.